how can any of you feel good about next season? It's just human nature. Okay. Why? What? It's human nature. I want to know how you literally have to lie to yourself, right? I know those fans. I know the fans that like, well, you never know. It's been 40 years, right, of all this shit with even better teams or better coaches or better defenses or better running games or better quarterback. Well, only one better quarterback, but you know what I mean overall. Either way, all different kinds of things, and it's been all kinds of failure. And the people, I get those Dolph fans. Those people are kind of crazy to me in a way. If you just lie to yourself, you're kind of crazy. You know, está medio loco. I hate to say it. You refuse to see the writing on the wall. So the rest of us that live in reality, okay. The ones that live in reality right now, not that are willing to lie to themselves to try to create some utopia that doesn't exist. Okay. Those of us that live in reality, how do you feel positive about next year? Okay. If I don't like McDaniel, which I don't, okay, I'm good with the front office. Again, that doesn't have to agree with you guys out there. Some of you may not like the front office and the coach. Some of you may like the coach and not the front office. Whatever it is, Tua, whatever. I don't have I have a problem with Tua, the moron, not the passer. Okay, I have problems with Tua, the idiot that thinks he's a football player. That moron. I don't have a problem with the passer. Some of you have a problem with the passer also. You know what I'm saying? So we have all these issues. I want to know how in your right mind you see anything positive next year. I understand on the business side, you guys don't sign the checks, so you can't, they screwed up. They committed to Tua when they really didn't have to, but I get it. The McDaniel one, that made no sense at all. McDaniel had not proven an extension, but this is typical Stephen Ross because he's an idiot. And he did the same thing with Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin wins a meaningless game with Minnesota. I lose my mind. Like, this bum doesn't deserve to get a job, and he wins a meaningless game against Minnesota, just like meaningless wins now down the stretch. You're 6-3 down the stretch now because you had a chance to go 7-2 now down the stretch. No, now you went 6-3, and big deal, dude. You capitalize on a bunch of bullshit down the stretch. Typical Miami Dolphins. So I'm just wondering how I can't spin anything for next year. For me, it's impossible. One, I cannot trust Tua anymore. Not the passer, the person. The person refuses to learn. And if you still don't understand that, you better listen to the pregame show and the Tua sound bites and the breakdown of it, so you can understand what the hell I'm talking about. And his level of ignorance is disturbing. It's literally disturbing. Okay, seriously. So McDaniel. There's 3 years of it, dude. You saw again the play calling. Poor Travis Wingfield was driving, and he's, works for them. So it's like everybody sees it. Maybe some writers don't want to say it because they don't want to be, the Dolphins are the kind of team that if you say negative shit, they hold it against you. Trust me. I have some experience. Anyway, so it's just one of those things. So I get it. They deal with the guy every day, and he's a really nice guy, but he's a terrible coach. Mike McDaniel is one of the worst coaches. He has great play designs. We have to separate the two, okay? Or separate that from the 80 other things he can't do. Just because he can play design doesn't mean he knows when to call them, how to call them. He doesn't really know how to handle a team. He has no presence whatsoever. There's just I just want to know. I want to know, how do you create any kind of positivity for next season? That's what I want to know, because I cannot figure it out for the life of me. There is no part of me that can get rah about it at all. You're literally, I'm going to watch because I love my Dolphins. I'm going to follow them. If my stupid ass ends up traveling to a game or two, I'll do it. That's not the point. But deep down inside, I don't believe in anything right now. I don't believe they have a shot at doing anything right now. You're literally going to have to do it a couple of times. Like, you're like next season, if they have like a couple of really good teams, they're going to have to beat those teams. And for me to like start to believe, like, you're literally going to have to start doing it before I even believe anything. Because I'm never going to believe you. I'm never going to give you a chance. I'm never going to give you the benefit of the doubt, especially with that clown as your head coach. And he's a clown. I'm sorry. That guy is a complete goof. There's nothing about Mike McDaniel that says head coach. Zero. Okay? Zero. He's a terrible head coach. I really have that problem right now of where the hell do I come up? Where do I muster? And it's been years. It's decades. And let me tell you something. This is why I always tell you, you young fans, you people are my heroes. You fans that are in your 20s and 30s and maybe even early 40s, and you travel and you're still rabid about and all that. I love you people, because you don't know shit about actual, like, real Dolphin football. All you know is misery. You don't know shit. You've never seen good Dolphin football. Like, you've never seen a real defensive line, offensive line, running game, quarterback, coaching, because that was the 70s. That was when I was a kid. When I'm 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, that's when I saw like a real team. Then when we got to the 80s, it was kind of, gimmicky. It's what we were. We were never really a real tough team anymore, because we were never really a great defensive line, great offensive line, great running game. Never had that balance ever again. We've never seen it. So you young people, like, my God, you freak me out, because you ain't got shit to hang your hat on. Nothing. At least those of us that lived like the good days, we kind of can hang on to that. We can hang on to the Orange Bowl. We can hang on at least to a little bit of, beating the Bears in 85, and maybe even a little bit of the early 90s, even though getting your ass kicked thoroughly by the Bills wasn't fun, but they were a decent team, whatever. And that's, that's kind of like the end. It's kind of like the end. And still those teams in the 90s were frauds, and the teams in the 80s were frauds. Frauds. Because when they were put to the real test, they folded like a cheap tent. Typical Dolphins. So it's hard, dude. It's like every decade is filled with misery, shortcomings, failures, choke jobs, embarrassments. Today was another embarrassment. If you had a real coach that really knew how to create a backup quarterback, this fool was around Skylar Thompson for nearly 3 years, and Skylar is still on the team. That's how embarrassing that is. Mike McDaniel's so sensitive that he won't let go of Skylar Thompson. Why would you have that guy on your roster? The guy couldn't even hand the damn ball off. You took him out of the game yourself. If that was flukish or anything, you would have kept him right in the game after that, man. You took him out because you knew, and he's still on your roster because you still refuse to part. And then you bring Snoop Hundley. And by the way, you guys erasing your tweets out there. Oh no, Snoop Hundley backup. Oh, Snoop Hundley. How many of you you're going back to your Blue Sky? Going back to your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Threads? Huh? Going back and finding those. Oh, yeah, no, let me go get back. No, I don't want anybody to know that I wanted Skylar Huntley. Some of you writers were talking about, yeah, let's bring Snoop back for backup. Like, what are you guys smoking, dude? And whatever you're smoking, share, assholes, because it's really good shit. It's pretty greedy on your part. You guys got some shit that is so good it makes you think Snoop Huntley is potential backup for the Miami Dolphins. You people are smoking some really good weed, bro. Really good weed. Congratulations.